Good evening. My name is Ricky T. James. We are here at Community Cuts at Salon Leon, 732 Washington Avenue. I am conducting a Community Cuts interview with Mr. Skipp Roseborg, our Brooklyn hero. We are filming this conversation. Please be aware of what we are interviewing and what we are saying. Mr. Roseborg, may you introduce yourself, please, and give yourself a pat on the back.
Well, thank you, Ricky. I'm Elliot Skipp Roseborg. I'm going to go by Skip, my nickname. I'm a former Marine and a pretty good basketball player over the years. I've played with some significant players in some different tournaments. Yeah, I've done pretty well over the years as far as a player goes. I never moved to pro. I think I was good enough at least twice in a career, but never put myself in a position.
Can you name some of the players that you played against that were significant to Brooklyn? Right here.
The first significant player I played with was on the first team I played with when I played, and that was Frank Reed, one of the best ball players come out of New York City, period. Played on the road Travis for a while. Was actually an amazing player. One of the best players I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of players in my 60 years of playing. So, I've also played with Jerry McMillan, a great star that took over Elvin Bailey's place with the Lakers. When I was playing with him pickup games, he was also a young man. I lost the name. Mike Dunleavy. And he was a high school kid at the time. And Jim was, of course, an outstanding player. Outstanding player with the Lakers. And so he's taken Elvin Bailey's place, so he had to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And I was holding my own with him. And this young kid was holding his own with the field left. So that meant he was damn good.
You say Dunleavy.
Mike Dunleavy.
Mike Dunleavy, he was so small.
And, not very big, and young white boy. And we talked about it, and we the two of us, Jim and I both knew that he was destined to be a star in the pros because we knew ours was nothing because he was already playing at a pro level.
I mean, the issue of basketball, Brooklyn, and the NBA, it was hand in hand in Brooklyn in the 60s and the 70s, and he is right from that era. I'm going to ask you a few questions about your where you were born. Harlem, New York Hospital. And you upgraded into Brooklyn Boys High School.
Right.
How did that ever come to be? I don't know.
Well, my family moved to Brooklyn in 1954. My grandparents, my great grandfather, my mother, and my sister, and myself. So I was 8 turning 9 at that point. We enjoyed it because it was the first house we owned. Which was great. And like the neighborhood, it was gentrified our way at that point.
Right.
Most Italians and Jews, and they were leaving and going away. But I still live in the old family house.
The same house today.
Right.
This very day, he lives in the same home that he was born in.
Not born,
But he moved from
8 years old.
8 years old to this very day. That's hard to believe.
Right. So, I lost the house a year ago, but I found a way to stay in it for now. I'm still fighting to get it back.
Well,
And I have great hopes.
I hope to get all what is coming to you as far as your residency.
I appreciate that.
And Boys High, how did that work out? Did the old Boys High annex?
I started at the annex my first year, and then my second year I was in the main building on North Avenue. First learning how to play at that point, 1960, and I think first time I touched basketball. The second year, I actually was good enough to try out for the team, and they had a rebuilding year. They had been a dynasty, and the first day I got cut. And I just knew in my heart I was better than some of the people that are still there. So I went back the next day and I made it through the next 3 cuts. So I made it to the last cut.
Boys High is a very difficult team to play on and to be put on the team without getting cut. It's like what you did with the United States Marines.
Yeah.
And 65 to 68,
Yeah.
that you went from high school into the Marines. How did that happen?
Well, I had a couple of years before I went to the Marines, but I got a call from an Army recruiter, and this was during the lottery period where you had a lottery, and if your number was picked, you were equipped into the service. And he had said that if I signed up, I could choose my location,
Right.
and that would be good. I went to say goodbye to a Marine recruiter that I talked to over a few years. As I stood outside his office, I saw the Marine uniform, dress blue, very impressed with those, and I always wanted to go in the Marines. And I wound up, supposedly the next morning, I was supposed to be up in Romney at 8 o'clock, and I went up there at 7 o'clock for the Marines. So Marines already were making one that close for me.
What did they say? You're late, something, you're late? I forget how that goes.
A lot of different things. A lot of things fit.
Can you mention all the awards and the medals that you received? You said 97 member boot camp platoon, the first in class during the month of a long infantry training. Received 2 merited promotions, was considered for the third and the first 12-month service are considered to be for the 4th during combat operations in Vietnam. All those awards, 4, 3, 12, 4. I can't even imagine that. The Marine Corps must be good to you at one point.
Well, they were. I don't know if it's all that big, but I think for an individual, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Being second in my class in 97, I felt it was good. I was trying to be the outstanding man. And this should testify a little bit, gentleman, young white guy that had been in the Army for 2 years.
And he was number 1.
He beat me out.
Beat you out.
But I think it was because he was feisty, and they would catch him smoking in the John 3 or 4 times, and they beat him up, and he'd still come back and be smoking the next day or 2.
Wow.
And I think as Marine teachers, they like that. They love his stuff.
Yes.
I think that's what beat me
And
out.
that's in 65, 68, during that period.
Right.
I can understand that. I mean, you received a combat a medal in the operations of Vietnam?
Well, the unit received the President Unit Citation from the United States and also from South Vietnam. I myself, I was considered for a meritorious promotion from corporal to sergeant, but I didn't have enough time as a corporal, so I missed out on that. So, but when I first got in Marines, again, I got the first motion to apply for first class, and then you do infantry training. And if you don't screw it up, because you have a strike, so you're already showing leader, so you lead. And as long as you don't mess up, then you're going to get the second strike.
And you served in Vietnam from 1967 to 1968. You received the Purple Heart. You had merited field promotions in different and the presidential unit certification, which you did mention, both by the United States government and the Vietnamese government. So that's a high honor.
Very, very proud of that. Our unit had probably more field operations than any other unit in Vietnam. If not, we were one of the ones top. And the way I know that is every time when I came home from California to come home here, and every duty station I went to, you give them your DD-214, which is history of where you
DD-214.
DD-214. And every time I took that to the office, they looked at how many operations we had, and they were stunned that we had that many operations.
Well, Operation Dog's field event costing the enemy.
Combat operations.
Wow.
Vietnam.
How many was that? 14?
We had 24, I think it was.
20.
And, so we were special landing force, about 1,000 Marines aboard 5 to 7 ships, and we offloaded about 800 fighting men and have 200 in support for us.
Wow, that's a lot of fighting, and that's a lot of things that this country should be proud of.
Yeah.
And Brooklyn should call you a hero.
Well, I thank you for that. I think we all were heroes. We all did the best we could.
You received a basketball scholarship from the service, or is that correct?
No,
Or
not from the service. I wound up over the years with 6 basketball scholarships in college, some partial, some full, over a period of time.
right?
And I played at a small college in Nebraska, John F. Kennedy College, little tiny college.
Wahoo, Nebraska.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was captain and starting guard of the team as a freshman. And,
Very good.
did pretty well for myself.
You're a 5-team president, 5 Theta Kappa
Five-term president of Phi Theta Kappa fraternity.
fraternity. Yeah, very good. They're up on fraternities these days. And the vice president of the student government and internal fraternal council. And you served on the deans and the students advisory committee. Did you choose who was going to be on the dean's list, or was it something that not the committee did?
The dean
just advised.
On the dean's list, the dean would decide on that.
Very good.
Student council, I ran for that. The president had already been established, so I ran for vice president. I have to be honest and say that at the small college, it fit me, and it was a lot easier for me to do these things there.
Right.
I don't know that I had the type of personality to do it at a big school.
Yeah.
And in fact, my stepdad, when he told me I was going away to school, I couldn't decide whether to take this small school or a couple of big schools I had offered. He said something smart to me. He said, you can be a small fish in a big pond, or you can be a big fish in a small pond. And that worked out well for me.
A learned father. He really gave you the advice that you really, really need at that time. Yeah.
And he was famous jazz singer Joe Carroll, playing with the West Woody Herman. And he was very sharp. He's been around a while, and he helped me. He's told me
Well, in Hollywood. Heritage College, Hastings, Nebraska, 1973 to 1974, received a partial artistic stuff. That's a step down for painting and
well, the
social life. You would all that activity and then back down into the arts world.
well, the coach had a problem with the color. I was told that he had 2 players, 2 black players some years before, and they had stiffed on him when he came back from Copland Christmas. I told him they couldn't come back, but he had to pay him to come back, and he never got that. Somebody told me that early. I worked out with the team for about 3 months with my best buddy,
Basketball.
yeah. And finally, coach told us we had to.
You had to go, what?
We knew he didn't really want it at the time, but we could hold our own with each other.
At Hastings Regional Center, the State Mental Hospital, in 1974 to 1984. You did there a long 10 years of working as a human resource technician and served as an administrative advisor committee and a suggestion committee. Is that a catch to that, serving in mental hospitals with all these committees and resources? In a psychic nurse is a issue.
Well, I really didn't think I wanted to work in the hospital, but in a town of about 70,000, there weren't a lot of jobs available at that point, and so I tried other places. So I tried several other places, and this is something I had to take. I found out that I was pretty good at it, and I was actually able to get some years to get some patients out of the institute. I used to try to get out. They had been in there for years. I tend to talk a lot and have ideas of things. The administrator, they went to my first speak on some certain issues, and so he talked to me, sat down, talked with me, and he invited me to be part of this group as well.
outspoken. You're outspoken.
Yeah, I was very shy when I was young, but my mother's always not going.
Yeah.
And at 17, I realized that I had a lot of things to say and I wanted to do more I heard. A lot of people know me to say I overdid it. So I can talk a ton. You know, so.
Again, this issue now, the skip home repair in Brooklyn is a great issue in Brooklyn. Putting a business in Brooklyn in the years 1989 to 1998, 96. That's an achievement. When there was no money, no place, no real estate issues in Brooklyn, no concerns of political influence to get you into the place. So it's hard to fathom.
Well, it's a little different. I lived in the Wash complex, it's a lot of housing with my grandparents, and I needed some way to take care of myself. And I was fairly cancer, so I put ad in paper that my grandmother put out to go to complex about home care. I wound up doing everything from painting people's apartments to showing how to use their VCR, setting up their electronics, building cameras, and so on, even some ice cream afterwards. And so, and folks would call me sometimes to undo what professionals did and mess up.
Were you under contract all the time? These times that you went out to do this work, or you did it pro bono, or?
Just up my ads, and I didn't charge people that much, but enough to
Well, that's what the 60s, the 80s, and the 90s was all about.
Yeah. Not finding something that I was good at
And do it.
and leaving the freedom to do some other things I wanted to do.
Right. Former 3-year vice president of New York, ACOR, ACOR, and the multi-year board member. That's ACOR is very prominent today. They are voting on the Atlantic Yards in Brooklyn. How do you stand on this issue of ACOR being in the Brooklyn mainstream and doing in construction and housing and all that issue that goes on downtown Brooklyn?
Well, we now are over the last 12 years now. We've been New York Committee for Change because they had gotten forced out, which I'm not going to get into all of this. But at both iterations, as New York Acorn and New York Committee for Change are, well, let's say we organize ongoing around their issues, housing, conditions, environment, and so on. And over the years, we've done some amazing things. And
Yes,
I'm proud of a lot of things, but my time with those two organizations has been something I'm most proud of. And I encourage people to come and see who we are and what we're about. That's New York Committees for Change. We, at some point, one organization that may not be there is with the Family Political Party.
Yes.
And Alex got back into the election 6 years ago. And at one point, we realized that a lot of things we wanted for the city, that we were important to the city, we couldn't get passed up in Albany. And it was because there were certain 8 Democrats who used to vote with Republicans who needed to leave the House. And so our founder decided that we needed to have power. So he decided that we would form this new organization, the Friendly Party, and we had some separate
Working better.
Right. And we wound up taking 6 of the 8 out. And for the first time in a decade, the lady that was actually the chair of the House, she actually did it to sit down and control and pass a lot of legislation.
Yes. Who is this lady?
Her name, I can't remember her name right now, but she's quite a worker for the public.
No, I mean, I consider you quite a worker yourself for the public. And all this issue of all that you have, the ACON, the steering committee for working families, the human resources of the commission of the city, the citizen advisory committee, the New York City Community for Change, which you mentioned, and the New York City organization funding for nonprofits. Those are all about business, all about what Brooklyn is really, really in need of when they're on the ground floor trying to get something accomplished. I appreciate this interview. I'm going to end it at this time, if I can.
May I ask a question before you end it?
Yes.
Is there any difference between the Marines of today, the contemporary Marines today, than when you were in service at that point, at that time?
Yeah, I'm kind of glad you asked that. The Marine, like any other organization, grows and adjusts.
Correct.
And my feeling is, Marines always talk about my corps, meaning the time that they were in. And the Marine Corps before me, before my time, let's say 10 years before mine, they did things a certain way, and mine did something, and then after they do certain things. Now, one of the differences from my time to after that was you got promotion by who was above you and decided that they felt you had a job needed to be done. So you could wind up in the position that you are for years. Okay. Sometime probably within the next 7 or 8 years after I got out, they started that you could take tests for promotion. So it didn't depend upon the guy above you, because the guy or the woman above you, who might be, you could be stuck in a position forever. But equipment and other things change. The type of duty that you do, the size of the units and so on. Marines have always done much more work with fewer men and less equipment. And there's a whole different thing about time of Vietnam and what we didn't do. One being that at one point we got the M14 rifles, so we've been using M6. We got M16, we've been using M14, and we didn't like the M16 because there were several problems with it. We found two squads at different times where they were all wiped out, and two of them had the weapons trying to get them to fire, and was lucky to be able to fire like machine gun if you needed to. And that meant that without that, they weren't able to survive. With those two weapons they were fighting, they might have been able to fight. Now, I'm talking with one of my peers. He told me, he said, well, I'm saying how much I hate this thing and seeing my fellow men die. And he said, well, my last name is Roseborg, so he's from Rosie. He said, Rosie, the Army was using this weapon for 2.5 years. And that just touched me.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest epiphanies in my life, to know that they knew something was bad for 2.5 years, and then they would give it to us, where it was even more important than the Army. So us working with fewer men and less equipment, and they give us what they didn't know was not working for years. That made me really, really think about this government and our leaders, and that they would do that to us. If you don't do that to people, you call heroes.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. I'm going to ask you another question. Is the brotherhood that you've been part of the Marines, is there a real brotherhood?
Without question, to some degree, it starts with just seeing the uniform and the Marines are. When we go to boot camp, once we've worked out enough so that our body's going to be smaller or larger than it's going to be, then they give you your dress uniform. And Marines dress uniform, they actually tailor it to you. Right? You go to
Each individual.
each individual. Right? So you have two dress green uniforms, two khaki uniforms, and then another light color uniforms, and they tailor all of this to you. And so your uniform almost makes you stand up straight. You can't, And so you take pride in that, but also that you're in the elite force. And if you survive boot camp, you know that you're somebody. Everybody doesn't make it. And those like I said, even if you want to try to get out, they will give you extra chances. And if you force them, they'll move you to what they call a different platoon where they work even harder.
Yeah.
And then if that doesn't work, there's a third thing they go to, and that's all bad time that you have to make up. And so if you spend too much in there, when you finally get back to the regular unit, you lost that time. And so you get to your new unit at the place where you were when you left. So you have an extra 2 or 3 months, it's that time. And so when they tell you that, and you see some of the guys actually go there, you go, okay, I think I better stay tight. But they have camaraderie. Every Marine at that time learned about 9 different weapons, how to fire on. Now, it might be just be that they took you through and learn how to put the bullets in and how to fire and so on. But it's something that you knew. I only learned about 4 different weapons, so a whole different animal. We didn't hear music for the first 2 months. There was nothing, no sound, of anything that we knew in the real world. And then you had a little time off, and then you went into training here, and you got a little bit of stuff. So you're under a. Well, let me get back to your main question. That when you get through stuff like that, where you see guys actually break down, sit on the floor and cry because doing stuff is taking them through something that they can't answer and stuff, and you ache, for hours and hours, and you do stuff that you didn't even think you could do. You know that anybody who's done that is a good person and strong of both body and mind, and they are your people. They are your people. And if you're in combat, this is who you want with you because you know they've been forged in iron and so on. So not every Marine is great. Not everyone's going to do what they need to do, even if they pass through all this. But as a group, these are the people I want to be with. And I like to say that because of what we treated in training and in the regular corps, we're always kind of mad a bit, because it's hard.
Because I know that when you're in a foxhole, you want to be with people that got your back and you got their back, because a foxhole is real.
Yeah, and you know that if you need an extra person, you can take the guy that's serving on the cooking line and pull him, and he knows with just a little refresher, he can shoot machine guns and stuff. Every Marine can do every job of basic combat, and so there's a certain power there to know that these are my guys, and I'm going to be all right, and they're going to stand there and be there when I need.
Well, we thank you, Community Cuts. Thank you, and much blessings to you. And you are a hero.
Oh, thank you.
You've been through it from A to Z. You've been there, and we salute you, my brother. We salute you.
I do appreciate it, and I thank you both for giving me this opportunity to brag about myself.
You're not bragging. You're just letting us know. You're just letting us know. Yeah.
What a career.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
We're going to close out now.
We're going to close out now. This should be the end of Community Cuts for today, the September 26th, 27th. We are going to appear again next Friday. Do join us then when we have our next individual to interview. I hope that we will have Mr. Duke Soundfund is doing the questioning. He's a professional at doing questioning, so I would like him to be here for the next time. Thank you.
So much famous.
All right, that we can do that. I haven't done interviews since I was in college.